Good morning, nerds, and welcome to the Mobile Musings for Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, the last video of the year. And yes, I'm headed into work on my day off. They called everybody into work today. So I had one day off this weekend, and now I'm headed back for 6 days in a row. But hey, good news, I get paid more. So it's all good. Yesterday was a quick weekend. I ended up sleeping until about noon yesterday. Didn't plan on it. Actually meant to get up around like 10 or so and then just completely out until 12 o'clock. We just kind of hung out, got some stuff done, ran some errands, fixed up my kid's bathroom for them because there were a couple of issues that needed to get fixed. And then we had an indoor soccer game last night. We got there at 6 o'clock and then realized it was an 8 o'clock game, so we went out to dinner. Had a little bit of Mexican food. At this really good place that just opened up recently, so it's pretty good. And then went back to the game. Found out that we had a total of 8 players for a 7v7 game. That made it interesting. And I was the only coach there yesterday. Fun times. So, we had to play kind of shorthanded against a team that was a lot bigger than us. And honestly, they played pretty well for having those 2 strikes against them. I mean, so I think we're playing a year up. Like, we're playing in a U14 league when our oldest guys are like 13 or about to turn 13 even. So technically U13 league. My kid is a U13. They were playing at a U14. Let's put it that way. And no joke, some of the kids on the other team were twice as tall as our players. Like, there was a kid that was my height playing against some of our guys. But they played well. It was an interesting game. We ended up losing. Shocker. It's tough when our guys take 3 steps for every one of theirs, but they actually played really well. They just were getting beat on outrun and all that kind of stuff, so it is what it is. The only problem is that my son ended up getting stepped on. It was just they both went up for a ball and both came down on his ankle. So he ended up having to come out with like 6 minutes left, and that was his first really bad injury. Like, I think he finally realizes what it means to get hurt in a play. Because before he's been like, oh, I got kicked, I stepped weird, I did all this kind of stuff, and I've been like, dude, you're gonna have to toughen up. And then he finally ended up getting hurt bad enough where it was like, yeah, that probably didn't feel great, and that probably did hurt you. So I had to pull him, and then we ended up playing the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. Down a man, essentially, with no subs. Wow, it just all of a sudden started pouring. Beautifully sunny day back that way. Pouring rain this way. Anyways. So they ended up losing. It is what it is. We had a lot of strikes against us in that game that made it tough. But I think the boys were pleased with how they played. They knew it was going to be a tough one. So, yeah, it's all good. So yeah, this is the last video of the year. I will be on tomorrow for the first video of next year. But we've had a pretty good year this year, honestly, in the super average household. And me personally, I've had a pretty good year. Done a lot of growth over even the last 3 to 6 months. I feel like I've had a lot of personal growth. Started in February, where I guess where I stopped drinking soda was one of the big ones. But even before that, I started journaling. Like, I started carrying a pocket notebook. Started trying to keep track of my thoughts. I was so scattered. I was doing all those kind of, like, I was feeling really kind of lost, honestly. And in the last, 10 months, I feel like I've been able to maintain my sanity by either journaling on paper or even coming to you guys every morning and journaling out my thoughts here. So I guess my big thing is, what are some things that you've accomplished this year? What are some things that you feel good about yourself for this year? And what are some things that you can improve for next year? Like, next year, I plan on expanding my journaling to actually include more paper journaling, more writing, trying to get my thoughts down on paper more, and not just like random middle of the day kind of things. Like, taking some time every night to, I don't want to say philosophize on things, but that is kind of what I want to say. Like, get my thoughts on paper as far as like how I stand on certain issues, or see if I can come up with a good philosophical thought, because I know I've struggled, especially in the last couple months, of like figuring out something to muse on in these videos. So that's something I really want to do this year. I also want to maintain my cleaning and decluttering. I want to keep that going and get myself into a spot where my living space and my head space are both decluttered. So let me know what you guys have for, I want to say, New Year's resolutions, but things that you probably could do any time of the year, but you're choosing to do them at the beginning of the next year. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of here, get on the interstate. You guys have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next year. Okay, love you. Bye.